Welcome back. My name is Mulligan and this is a little bit of a different video. So Xenonauts 2 came out with an update post. Update 12, I guess. September progress update, and you know, not everyone is checking the Xenonauts 2 Kickstarter and stuff, so I thought, you know, why not make a little video of it. So let's see, we have, it seems we got below 200k again, which is okay. So what we unlocked, for all you don't really know, we unlocked modular weapons, escape situations, location injuries, mass weapon platform, and sentry guns. I would have loved additional community edition and modding support. Maybe they are so kind to do that later. Don't really know. But yeah, there was a big update. As you see, September, not much. Until now. Last one was July 23rd. So there should be a beta coming in November. I'm going to play it naturally. But let's see what they are saying. So the first thing is a little video. There we go. A little bit loud. I mean, these are all the assets of Xenonauts 1, so you shouldn't really take that as how it is going to look like at the end. But this is the air combat, or what they envisioned at this point. So they want to, I believe, go back to the old XCOM way, more or less. You see, you have 3 different ranges here, so it's a more tactical way to do air combat instead of what we have in Xenonauts 1, which I still don't understand how it works. At least how I can win. So you have the different ranges. Naturally, the closer you are, the more damage you do, but the more damage alien guns do, or the UFO guns do. And you have a specific amount of time, and if their time runs out, they just drive off. They are just gone. I don't know if you can catch them later again, but I believe it was like how XCOM worked, more or less. The old XCOM games, where you had a specific time, you could get closer, and if you didn't get them in the time, they just gone off, and you had to wait a little bit before you could catch them again. I do like a little bit more of a tactic focused air combat. Could be interesting. We will see. This is just at the beginning. They're still figuring out how exactly they want to do this. At least that is what is written here in the wall of text, which is naturally for a block update. So that is one of the first things they talked about. Then we had the armory and soldier equipment. Now this was one of the things that I did talk about as I played the demo. It seems they had in mind to use similar to the new XCOM games. More or less, you have this equipment and that is it. No backpack, no stuff. And let's see, can we make this a little bit bigger? Paste. Nope, never mind then. So can't really make out too much. We can zoom in. Woo. Doesn't really tell me much. We have, I guess, stats. I don't know what. Kinetic energy, probably armor. Yeah, it seems like armor. Stats, armor. Similar design. You have different weapons, which we know: laser weapons, normal ballistic weapons, old shield. I don't know which models will be in the game. Could be all placement holder. But yeah, they decided getting the backpack back, which I do like. I just want to be able to go into a mission, have someone die if stuff happens, in the XCOM game or Xenonauts game, naturally. And go there, pick up the weapon, and shoot again. You couldn't do that in the new XCOM games, which I hated. That you can't just go to one of the soldiers that died, that you gave the best weapon you had at hand to, and the weapon was gone. You couldn't just go there, pick up the weapon, shoot. Why? So that is why I like the backpack system. It's good for, you know, picking a sniper. You don't know, is the map good for sniping? Maybe you need a assault weapon, so you have one in your backpack. Or more or less at the back of your equipment. So that is what they're talking here. Getting the backpack back. At least that is what I understand. Or how I understood it. Don't really know if that is really how they wanted it to go. They at least listened to the feedback of the community and got the backpack back. Or at least the grid-based soldier backpack, as they say here. And they talked about armor, which is interesting. Because we did hit one of the goals. The community could decide which goals we wanted to have happening. And they decided for the modular weapon and armor system. I believe it was weapon and armor. We do see down here. And they are talking here about having still ideas, having an armor part and a plating part. So I don't really understand what exactly they want. They do want to have more or less two different types. So you can have early game armor and can use that if you have high-tech plating. So my guess is that the plating is more damage absorption, while the armor is more resistance. That is only my guess. Couldn't really read out that much. You only have the example system allows players to mix and match armor and suit for specific missions. If you want good chemical protection, you can equip your soldiers with chem suit, but then issue your assault troopers heavy plating on your snipers light plating. So in this way you can have lower tier armor in late game missions. So that is at least how I understand that. I do like this system. I would love to go a little bit higher. So if they are going with only, you know, suit and plating, leave it a little bit open. Maybe the game does well, gets a little bit community. It makes sense maybe to get a DLC going and then expand on that idea. Instead of only suit and armor and plating, make it a little bit more modular. Have arms, torso, legs, and the head different. As example, a sniper that I probably have at the back behind cover probably doesn't need big armored legs, so he can have light plating if at all. His legs don't really need protection because the only exposed parts are his arms and maybe his torso. Because he's behind cover, he's far away, and naturally the head, so a good helmet. So that way, you don't need heavy armor on the legs. Maybe get more time units. I don't really know what type of negatives you want to have with that. I would say, you know, the heavier the armor is, naturally you need more strength, and you'll just lose maybe time units. So if you have light armor, you can have just more time units, can run further. Apart from the strength problem, if you have not enough strength, you do lose time units, but I would say better armor is going to reduce your time units extra. So heavy armor, less time units, light armor, more time units maybe. So you can mix and match if you have this advanced modular system at some time. I don't really remember if there is armored weapons or not. We have the mass weapon platform and sentry guns. We have modular weapons. That was one of the first goals. I don't really know what they envision with that. Could be similar to XCOM 2, where you have different scopes, different barrels. I don't know how far they want to go with that. Will be interesting, will be coming up later, I would guess. And the last part was new aliens. So they have this little picture. This is, as they describe it, a support unit. And they wanted to go back to the roots in the old XCOM days where there were some quirky enemies. You know, not everything was a box standard lizard soldier with a little reaper guy. No, there were some quirky enemies designed at that time. And this is a single type psionic support unit. Don't really know what. It's a flying brain, so I guess it does woo. Maybe it does just juices people up with brain power? I don't really know. I do like the system to have maybe some aliens that are just support. We did, as example, in Xenonauts X Division, there are medics, real medic aliens, but as example, seasons or civilians, they are medics, but they don't heal. They're not going out, have like some spray or bandages and go and heal people. They're just there. They're medics. And they shoot. How is that a medic? So I would like to have a little bit more of a supporting cast. Medics, technicians, have some mechanical stuff on mechanics. Maybe they repair the ship while the fighting is going on. You know, not everyone has to be a fighting force in the enemy camp. And I would like, in the same vein, why can't we have that? You know, have a one-tier support unit. At the beginning you have a little, you know, RC car that is going around, not going to be piloted by one of your soldiers, but by the pilot. I mean, the pilot is not really there, apart from just flying you there and sitting in the dropship while everyone is dying, I guess. Could be one of the soldiers, who knows. But maybe the pilot then has a little support unit. An RC car can go around, scout people, is pretty hard to hit. Maybe he can do a little bit taste, maybe he can mark. You can just mark an enemy and he's easier to hit. Because you have maybe later tech, your weapons have an add-on. You can put on that weapon instead of a better scope or whatever. And you have a bonus chance to hit on enemies that are marked. And later on, instead of an RC car, you could have a little drone flying around, giving you flying vision. Would be pretty good, in my opinion at least. Maybe have a little laser pointer so they can mark at range, but only as long as they are actively marking that unit. Everyone else gets like 5% more chance to hit. Could be nice. Would replace the tanks. Tanks were pretty cumbersome, but I did like that you can have a tank and your crew in X Division instead of having one unit less instead of a tank. So I would like to have little support units. One you could have. Maybe you can research later that you can have a second one to go around. Maybe there is. This is, by the way, the end. It's just a floating brain. Closed beta is still planned for November. So there's that. But we do have the mass weapon platform and sentry guns. This is mostly thought for maybe base missions or so. You can plop down sentry guns that help. Why not have the dropship have some? You know, make the landing position you have, make it so we can really fortify that. So we have a secure position where we can maybe fan out and attack. And maybe aliens can react to that and just not run into our machine guns that we are setting up. You know, have the dropship maybe have 1 or 2 machine guns instead of maybe the support units. Maybe you have little outcrops on the ship where you can store a drone or maybe a little gun. Not a big one. It shouldn't really be killing enemies left and right, but it can help, maybe. So that is at least what my idea would be. But we will see. And until November, where the beta is going to start, and I believe they want to release that game early next year. We will see. I would guess we will get a couple more updates until then. So I will maybe make another video. We will see if people want to have a rambling video like this a couple times more. We do have a couple comments. I mean, you can read a lot of stuff. I'm not really the writing guy, but there is engagement going on, which is pretty nice, and they are answering, which is good too. So keeping communications open. So I will see you at the next update post, I guess. So stay tuned. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.